Good afternoon, all. I'm Indra, as Sarah mentioned. I'm full name Indrasen Raghupatruni. I'm from Bosch, and I work for the Robert Bosch Center of Competence for Software Verification and Validation as a senior expert. And my specialization in the Center of Competence is specifically virtualization and simulation. So today I'm here to present our Eclipse Mobility Ecosystem Incubation Project. Okay, on behalf of my colleague Dirk Bangal, who is actually coordinating these efforts inside Bosch. Okay, so yeah, let's start with the vision and mission slides. As usual. So the vision here, we want to provide a very accessible and straightforward software development kit for all the developers who would like to, develop infrastructure-based solutions. Okay, so this specific project, will provide a SDK. This is what our mission is. To give an example, for example, if to develop a solution based on vehicle driving or parking or charging, for example, you need a infrastructure-based solution. Here we provide different development methodologies to establish the software for the ecosystem projects. Okay, this is the first vision, and then we also would like to extend this, for example, for agent-based communication methodologies, agent-based systems, where we can use these agents to optimize. For example, when we have a charging scenario, to find optimized charging scenarios, charging places, use of charging infrastructure optimally, and so on. So this is a placeholder for these kind of software development kits. And our vision here is to leverage on the integration and interconnection with all kinds of in-vehicle, off-vehicle, and as well as different ecosystems and solution building blocks, and also enabling this to enable actually the software-defined mobility context. Okay, here we want to actually leverage on the existing standards. Okay, existing message protocols, for example, extend it or also support them in establishing this. These specific use cases for the software-defined mobility. Okay, that's the vision. We have been part of several industry consortiums as well as several standardizations. So we want to leverage on that and bring this into this specific project. Okay, we are actually sponsored by Software Defined Car Alliance. We are thankful for that, and which is paving way for the software defined vehicle progress. Okay, here is this is the vision and mission, and moving on. Okay, the scope is that we are going to have 3 different planes. We have a application plane, a data plane, and a operating system plane. As I mentioned, the application plane is for all the algorithmic tooling where specific agent behaviors would be hosted. For example, okay, we provide algorithms at the application level at this layer actually. Okay. And coming on to the next layer, the data plane, this will be for all the integration purposes where we use signal mapping, orchestration of the clocks, and abstraction of the timing to coordinate different multiple actors at this layer. Okay, and the OS, which acts as a control plane, will be based on, for example, the Eclipse LiDAR project. This acts for as a middleware for different use cases or different applications, and we also want to use this specifically in the simulation context. For example, how do we simulate different BSPs or different microprocessor architectures and so on at this level. Okay, so these are the 3 different layers or planes, which is the scope in the project. And yeah, so we want to again, to summarize here, so this project acts as a placeholder for the ecosystem infrastructure development based projects. And we are thankful to be a part of this community. And we would like to ask your, we would like to collaborate with you and ask your contribution to extend this and then support for the software development, software defined vehicle, projects. Yeah. Thank you. And that's. I just want to run away. Yeah.
No, I'm not really sure if I understood, but could you give a concrete example of a use case that you'd like to address?
Yes, for example, you can take a charging scenario. We multi-agent. So we have a charging station where multiple agents wants to communicate, or use the charging. Okay, so here we would like to create an application plane where multiple agents can communicate with one another, okay, in an optimal way and use the charging infrastructure in an optimized manner. So this specific project will be a placeholder for such algorithmic implementations, and we are planning to provide a software development kit in order to establish this kind of a use case, for example. Mainly, in the multi-agent communication setups and so on. And that is the application level. But when you go to the lower levels, we need a data plane where these agents can communicate. So we want to now leverage on existing standards to see how we can actually communicate between the agents in this multi-agent setup. Okay, for the application to exist or to to execute. And then we use the operating systems which are like LADA, for example, as a baseline to create these data planes. That's the scope of the project. Yeah. We have demonstrators to demo. We are building demonstrators also. As I said, we are sponsored by the Softdicar, so we are building demonstrators to actually showcase this multi-agent communication setup with this specific layered architecture or approach.
Any other questions? So, I mean, maybe I have a question. So this will then really be used as a software orchestration.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, this can be used as a software orchestration setup, because this is where we are. We imagine that we are lacking here in the SDV space, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then maybe stick around to the discussion of the software orchestration because this is really going to be about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks. And final note, we are in the process of clearing our open source at Bosch. It's a process. So once it is available, you can all access the code and the SDKs, for example.
So is it on? Is the code already on GitLab?
The code is to be pushed in the GitLab. So as I said, we are waiting for approval from the open source, and then it's already available for us. Yeah. Okay.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.